Hello everyone, welcome to lindasueplantsforyou. This is Linda, and you are looking at my Ficus Elastica, also known as rubber tree among other names. And I'm going to be doing a close-up of a repotting of this plant in just a moment, but I wanted to give you a full view of the size of her and let you see how big she has gotten. This plant, I bought her and another one less than 2 years ago, and they were about 4 to 6 inches tall in a 2-inch pot. And look at how much she has grown. Okay. Okay, the first thing we're going to do is get her out of this pot. And I chose another pot, and although she's not much bigger width-wise, she is deeper, so she'll be okay for now. Ideally, I would have loved to have gotten a bigger terracotta pot, the shallow kind, and wider, because I am planning on propagating this plant in the near future. I'm just not sure where I want to cut it yet, and I'll be honest with you, I'm not sure I want to cut it. But there are several different ways to propagate this plant. You can do an aerial propagation, which there's many videos on that on the internet. I don't choose that method because I really just don't care for it. I've done it in the past, and I've done it with and without success. So it's just not something I like to do. And as I said, there's many videos out. If you look up aerial cuttings, you'll find the information on how to do that. The other way is you can cut the stem itself by using a very sharp, sterile tool, whether it's a knife or scissors, and it will branch out wherever you cut it. You'll get new growth. And part of the reason I don't want to do that to this plant is because the leaves on the bottom are rather small. Now, like I said, when I bought this plant, it was in a tiny little pot, and it was in with the other miniatures that they were selling a lot of at the time. So I don't know if it was bred to be a smaller plant or not, because I've had rubber trees many years ago where the leaves were 3 times this size. And I'm okay with this. I just wanted to explain the difference here. Now, as you can see, there are small leaves on the bottom here, and I do believe with the right light that they will get bigger. However, again, I don't know for sure. There's another little plant growing under here, and I'm just going to leave those attached and let them go and see what happens. Because where I had this plant, the bottom of the soil, or I should say the top of the soil, was not getting much light. It was below my west window. Below the windowsill, I should say. However, the top half was in the west window, and those leaves took on a lot of growth when I put it in that window. So it's going to go back in a west window, but in a different room, which you will see. I'm hoping in the next couple weeks that I will have that room put back together. For those of you that have been following me, and some of you have asked me about it, I am working on it, but as I said many times, what used to take me an hour to do now takes me a couple days. So unfortunately it's slow going, but I am getting it done. I am accomplishing things, thank goodness. And once I get that done, then I'll show you where she's going to live. One of the things that I think I need to do is I don't have a shear on that window, and I really believe I'm going to need one because it's a pretty intense west light that comes in through there. And although these 2 rooms are next to each other, the living room where I currently have this plant has a porch, and it's a covered porch, has a roof on it, so it doesn't get as intense as the west window that I'm going to be putting it in. So I may have to get assistance with putting up that curtain because I don't have much use of my left arm here, so I can't do what I want to do in most cases, and it's very frustrating some days, but I'm just letting you know, you know, I'm not helpless. I certainly, I've done a lot of physical work in my life, but I'm just not able to do it right now. So I gotta wait for somebody to help me, but that's okay. In the meantime, I am going to put her in a place where she won't get that real direct sun. And I'm not even sure that that will hurt her. I mean, I have read up on this plant many times, and some of the things I've read say, you know, if you put her in direct light, she's going to burn. I've had her in direct light and she didn't burn, but there's always a good, you know, a first time. And I waited so long for her to grow up. I just don't want to, I don't want to lose any of her leaves at this point. So I don't want to really take that chance. This plant is from, I believe, Southeast Asia or Southeast Asia. And for those of you that are questioning or wondering, and I know there are at least one or two of you, does the rubber tree produce rubber? The answer is yes, absolutely it does. In fact, we get 90% of our rubber from the rubber tree. There are many other species of plants that also do produce rubber, but the majority of it comes from the Ficus elastica. So, yeah, that is not a myth. That really is the truth. And having said that, I just want to remind people, if you are allergic to latex, or if you have skin allergies and you're allergic to soaps and things like that, you're going to want to be careful with this plant because it oozes a sap, a latex sap, kind of like the euphorbia cacti. And what you don't want is to get that on your hands. Now, I don't have any issues with it, at least I haven't up till now, so I don't worry too much about it. But for those of you that do, please be careful. I wouldn't want you to get have a rash or a burn or whatever happens to you when you come in contact with that. So be careful of that. The other thing is, and these leaves need washing right now, even though I just washed these, I don't think it's even been a month, but they are really avid dust collectors, and you don't want that dust to sit on there because it's going to attract insects, and it just doesn't look nice. And the poor plant can't breathe when it's got a thick layer of dust on it. This isn't bad, but it needs to be done, which I'm going to do off camera, because today I just wanted to talk to you about this plant and take you with me as I'm repotting. All of the other aspects of this plant can be readily found on the internet. So if you have questions that I haven't answered, you know, please go to that source. Now I see that I got some new soil here, and I did not put perlite in it, but you know, I'm not sure that, I don't think I even need it with this plant because I'm using the Happy Frog soil mixture, and it does have perlite in it, so I think we're gonna just leave that be for now. But let's get started. I want to loosen this up, and as always, when you're dealing with terracotta, it is a porous pot. And there have been times when my roots of my plants have actually started to grow into the pot. Isn't that amazing? But we're not going to I'm not, oh no, I think I just broke her, did I? Oh, I hope not. That's the other thing with these plants. These leaves snap off very easily. You have to be careful when you're around them, like I just wasn't. We were talking about propagating. Another way to propagate this plant is, like I said, to just cut off, you know, and then maybe take off 2. If you were to cut it, let's see if I can get a better picture here for you. Okay. You see the nodes here. So if you were to cut this plant, say, right here, it's going to branch out from there. And then I would take this bottom leaf and this leaf off. And then you can either stick that in water or in soil. Now, I know that I propagated this successfully years ago, but again, I'm so leery nowadays, and I think what I would prefer to do is leave this plant intact, put it in a much bigger pot, and then add another plant to it in the soil to make it fuller. And that's probably what I'm going to end up doing, but we'll see. I've got new shoots coming up here, as you can see. New little leaves on the end of every stem. I've got new leaves. So and these coming out the bottom may get bigger. I don't know. So I'm a little undecided as to what I'm going to do exactly, but for now we're just going to worry about getting it in a bigger pot, because when my husband carried it in here for me the other day, there was a long root hanging out the bottom. And I said, oh my goodness. And he said, what? And I said, look at the long root hanging onto there, that poor plant. So definitely she needs to go in a bigger pot. So let's see if I can do this. I initially was going to have him help me, but I don't have him here, and I really want to get this done today, so wish me luck. Oh, well, oh boy, that was quite a feat. I have got a mess. Well, that's okay. That's what plants are all about, folks. And honestly, I can say if you're the kind of person that is really fussy about dirt and things like that, you know, soil, whatever, this may not be the hobby for you, because no matter how hard I try, even when I'm watering plants, no matter how slow I go, inevitably I end up with soil and water and things spilling over. But you know, it's not the end of the world. I just take a rag and clean it up. No big deal. And this is so dry, I'll be able to just vacuum or sweep it up, no problem. Okay, I don't want to disturb these roots too much. I don't like to do that. Most of you know that about me. But I just want to encourage her to expand her roots a bit here. So I am going to do just a little bit of teasing of the roots here and give her a little head start. Okay, I think that's good. And this soil is not that old. I just repotted her not too long ago, so I'm not going to worry about, you know, there's a lot of times you'll see me trying to get all of the soil, the old soil ball off, and that's because I want the roots on the inside of that ball to get fresh soil and nutrients from that soil. But in this case, this is not old, so I'm not going to worry about it. Get this out of the way. And I'm going to try and just move the dirt away a little bit, because I don't want it to end up in the crack of the table where the leaves join, because then I need help to get the table pulled apart to clean that out in there, and that's a job. So, okay. Perfect. Perfect. Okay, let me set her down here. Oh. I want to take a little out. I put a little bit too much soil in the bottom, and I don't want to end up with, I don't want her, the top of her to be too close to the top of the pot, because I don't want the water to go all over when I water her. Okay. Oh, I'm glad I got that in there. I'm trying so hard not to put these big leaves in your face. I don't think I'm doing too good a job, but you'll forgive me, I hope. Okay. She looks pretty straight. Let's see if I can. I'm trying to fill this with my left hand, and one of these days I'm going to make this work a little better for me, and I am working on that too. So I have a lot of projects going on right now that they're slow going, but they're going. If you notice, and I'm sure you do because I see it when I edit my own videos, my left hand, I have tremors in my left hand, and okay. Although I did have it a little bit prior to my fall, it got incredibly worse after my fall, and nobody seems to know why. And there's no fix for it as of right now, so it's something I have to just live with, and I'm okay. I'm adjusting, but I thought I would. I've never mentioned it before, folks, because if you didn't notice, I didn't want to draw attention to it, but because it's gotten so much worse, I thought it might be worth mentioning. And like I said, it is what it is. I've learned to compensate. I have to be careful when I pick things up to carry them in another room, because sometimes that hand will just it's just to whip whatever is in my hand across the room, and then I just stand there dumbfounded like, how did that just happen? But that's what it does, so I gotta be careful. For instance, if I'm carrying a hot cup of coffee from the coffee maker into my living room, I as my grandma used to say, I daresn't do it with that hand, because inevitably it'll either spill or go flying across the room, and we don't need that happening. So sometimes we get a good laugh out of it. Once in a while it gets frustrating, especially when I'm trying to do a video for you guys, and but that's the story. So again, no big deal. Okay, so what do you think? The room that this is going in is it's a craft room / memory room. I have lots of things in there that mean a lot to me, And one of the things I did in there is I had put my grandma's favorite hymn around the top of the wall around the room like a border. And that song is called In the Garden. And I'm sure many of you will recognize that. And I tell you this because this pot, okay, so that song is done. The room is done in like a, back when we were doing the textured wall look many years ago, and I haven't redone it, and I won't be redoing it. I can no longer paint on my own, so it's going to stay that way. And then the song that's around the top is done in black. So it's kind of a mauve colored room with black accents. And I know it's outdated, but I still love the room. And in that room, I found one day, my husband and I were at Walmart, and they had these black curtains, which I would never buy in a million years, but I thought, you know, those would go really good in that room. And it was black with gold and silver kind of designs running through it. And I would not have chose this plastic pot for this plant, except for the fact that I thought it's going in that window with those curtains. And I thought this pot would be perfect for that with the silver and black. So that's why I'm telling you about it. And again, I'm hoping to show you guys that room soon. There are not a lot of plants in it, but I have a few. So it's going to be more, I think, about the room than it is about the plants. But I have people that want to see it. So I guess for those of you that won't be interested, you won't have to watch. And those of you that are, you'll be happy when I get it done. Okay. All right, so here she is, folks. What do you think? I mean, I think the pot size is good. I'm going to wash off the leaves, and I'm going to put her in that window. And if you want to see what she looks like, you'll have to come back another time and see that. You'll have to watch that video so you can see her. I'm going to give her a good watering right now, however, because she needs it desperately. Oh, I forgot my granules. The other day I mentioned, and these are bonite houseplant systemic granules, and they kill anything that's in the soil. The other day I mentioned that we saw a fungus gnat, and we thought it came in with the produce, but realized it came in probably on my husband's hair. There were a whole bunch of them out on our front porch, and we use our front door all the time. So, hopefully this will prevent them from laying eggs, and if they do, it'll kill the larvae, and it won't allow them to hatch and reproduce, because I went 1 month short of a year without one fungus gnat in this house. I was so proud and happy. I felt so successful for a change. And then when I saw that, I said, oh no. But I think we'll be okay as long as I continue to stay on top of it and keep treating the soil. And I did purchase some neem oil. However, I've been reluctant to use it only because after reading up on it and reading the instructions, it does leave a residue on the leaves, and I don't know, I'm just leery about that. And I know a lot of people use it with great success, so I probably will go forward with that, and hopefully that'll help too. Okay, well that's really pretty much it. I think we covered the lighting. They love very, very bright light, as bright as you can get it without direct sun. They like humidity. Although and some of the websites will tell you to mist these plants. I don't recommend that because the leaves are so thick, and you could end up with burn spots if the sun hits it. I do not spray this plant ever. I don't do it. But my home averages all summer. I've been between 50 and 60% humidity. Actually, it's right around 56 to 58. It goes up and down a little bit, but that's about the average humidity in my home. So no, I don't mist her. And other people talk about pebble trays. I tried that a couple times with no luck because it ended up getting moldy. So I don't use those. And she's still growing beautifully, so I don't know what to tell you about the humidity. I think that when they give you that instruction, I believe that has a lot more to do with the fact of where they came from and their environment. But I don't think we have to absolutely mimic the environment of where a plant came from. I mean, after all, we have cactus in our house, right? And we don't have desert-like conditions in our home, but we still manage to grow them and successfully. Maybe they'll only grow 2 feet instead of 12, but nevertheless, we still get beautiful plants. So I think, they're telling you for optimal conditions, but she's doing okay. So, all right, that's it. I also have a Prince of Orange that I will be bringing to you, repotting for you shortly. So stay tuned for that. And I'm sorry about that. I closed my flap and it shut my camera off, so I apologize. I didn't mean to cut you off that way. But here she is, all in her glory. You can see how big she is. All right. I hope you all have a great day. Take care now.